At Stephen F. Austin. Now for Willis Wilson's Texas A&M Corpus Christie Islanders that won last year. They are the only team in the last 3 years in this league to beat the Jacks. So they were swept in the 2 regular season meetings this season as Stephen F. Austin took both. And they've got the 2-time defending Conference Player of the Year in Thomas Walkup, number 0 in white and purple.
An extremely efficient offense from Stephen F. Austin.
They'll try a 3 to start the game, coming up short. Ty Charles. And it belongs to Bryce Duvier. He gets the first rebound, and he'll bring it up himself. Hamid Ali, the man with the basketball, hit the 3 last night with 7 seconds left. That allowed A&M Corpus Christie to advance to the championship game. A finger roll won't go for Jelani Curry. And here comes Trey Pinckney. Ninth into the basket, Demetrius Floyd lost it on the way up, and that's a turnover. Again, Stephen F. Austin, they controlled the entire game last night. Houston Baptist never had a chance, but it was an entirely different story for A&M Corpus Christie against Sam Houston State. You wonder, that was also the late game. The order of games that you saw on the screen matched the time of day that the games were played. The early game at 5 o'clock local time was Stephen F. Austin. It was about a 7:45 start last night for Hamid Ali, who knocks it down. And the Islanders, would you be worried at all about fatigue if you're Willis Wilson?
At this point in the season, you can't be. You got to be ready to go and play. But no question, that was a physical game. A lot of energy expended in the comeback of that ball game.
A takeaway underneath by Rashawn Thomas, the defensive player of the year in the Southland Conference. He'll take it the other way, throw up a wild off-balance shot that goes down. So Rashawn Thomas and Hamid Ali, the 2 leading scorers, both on the board. Quickly back the other way. The putback follow inside wouldn't go for T.J. Holyfield. Here comes Thomas running the floor. It's a quick start for the Islanders.
This is a loose team right now, playing with nothing to lose. Thomas, good sign for Texas A&M Corpus Christie to get off early. He was in foul trouble most of the game last night.
Pinckney, no good. The leading rebounder in the league has another one, as Rashawn Thomas averages over 8 rebounds a game in Southland play. Thomas turns it over. The takeaway by Thomas Walkup. Walkup, a little Euro crossover finger roll. And the back-to-back Southland Conference Player of the Year. It's the Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks on the board.
Struggling to score the basketball. You need an easy one to get the team relaxed and settled in. Nobody better to do it than Thomas Walkup, the 2-time Conference Player of the Year.
Ali for 3. Long rebound at the corner to T.J. Holyfield. Walkup does it all. He is in the top 4 in this conference in scoring, rebounding, and assists. He's got all 4 for the Jacks. He's such an efficient player. If the night ended and he had 30 points and only took about 12 shots, you wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all. He's so good at getting to the basket, using his body to score around the rim. And you just mentioned efficiency. He's been on a tear. 61 points his last 2 games and only 27 attempts. So he's getting it done at a high rate.
Ali needs help. It comes in the form of Duvier with 5 to shoot. Duvier goes right at Walkup. Off balance. That's a brick. And it's hauled down by Demetrius Floyd, who had 30 last night. Gives it up in transition. Ty Charles knocks the game at 6.
After a slow start, no panic in Stephen F. Austin. They answer back with a 6-0 run themselves. A&M Corpus Christie has to have better balance on defense. Shot goes up. You got to have a couple guys back in transition.
Foul called on Trey Pinckney, but Thomas
offensively, and they're in the top of the defensive categories in the nation as well. So you got to be on your A game. You have to be mentally prepared and focused and bring everything you have to compete with this team.
And you mentioned efficiency and being on your A game. Thomas Walkup has been just that all 4 years, as you can see, for the Jacks. Duvier in and out for three. The rebound found underneath, but turning it over was Ihab Amin. Amin last night was probably the unsung hero of this entire tournament so far. He made 3 or 4 game-changing plays when it looked like A&M Corpus Christi might not get past Sam Houston State.
He was able to get to the rim, finish around the basket, and get fouled. Was really good around the free throw line to mount that comeback for A&M Corpus Christi.
This time, he not only gets the rebound, but becomes the playmaker as he feeds Joe Kilgore.
I like Joe Kilgore's game. Up and down the floor, plays above the rim. Seems like he hits big shots in big moments as well.
That's Walkup again, 0 in purple and white, player of the year in the league. Dallas Cameron, number 12, is in for the first time, replacing Trey Pinckney, the backup point guard. Now we got a foul away from the ball. That in a moment, but Amin, the playmaker.
Amin pushing in transition. Best way to score against a team that's really good defensively, score before they get set. Corpus Christi out. Quick bucket that time.
And one inside. A chance for an old-fashioned three-point play for Clyde Gaffard.
Talk about instant offense coming off the bench. Gaffard averages 13 points a game, and just like that, he's on the scoreboard with a chance for a three-point play. Good execution on the baseline out of bounds.
So Gaffard completes the three-point play. That will bring in C.J. Williams for the first time. Will replace Ty Charles.
There's the pressure from Stephen F. Austin all over the floor. This entire possession has been outside the three.
Brandon Pye with a hand in his face comes up short. Tried that one over Jared Johnson. Gliding in and getting rejected by Kilgore was Cameron. And it looks like it's going to stay with the Jacks in the front court.
It looked like Stephen F. Austin had numbers. Great job by Kilgore, not only to stop the basketball, but then be quick off his feet for the rejection.
Turns the corner. He is fouled. If that's on Kilgore, that's his second. Looks like that foul's actually going to go against Francis. So Francis, Kilgore, and Duvier all with one apiece. C.J. Williams only a 54% free throw shooter. That gives Willie Wilson an opportunity to get Rashawn Thomas back in the game. Jelani Curry checks back in as well. Dale Francis goes to the bench. This is the first year at Stephen F. Austin for C.J. Williams. He only averages 2.3 points per game, so anything that he gives the Jacks is gravy, and he makes it a 2-point lead.
Just mentioned Thomas back in the game for A&M Corpus Christi. Managing his minutes will be important to keep him out of foul trouble. This is a completely different team with him on the floor.
Three won't go for Amin. Rebound to Gaffard. Traveling called, and there's Amin with some hustle in the backcourt as he disrupted Jared Johnson coming up the floor. Well, tomorrow on ABC, King James and the East leading Cavs take on CP3 and the Clippers at 3:30 Eastern from Staples. Coverage begins. NBA Countdown presented by Straight Talk Wireless at 3. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app as well. That's tomorrow a matinee between the Clips and Cavs at 3:30 Eastern. Amin with a little ball fake and a left-handed finish. How pretty was that? He's been in double figures 6 of the last 9 games for the Islanders.
He doesn't mess around. When he gets it, he goes. Before the defense has a chance to cut him off. Terrific knack of getting to the basket and finishing at the rim.
Amin bowled over, no call, a lot of contact, and a 3 goes down for Gafar.
That was something on that play. A ton of contact, body flying, but Stephen F. Austin able to knock down a 3.
Keeping it alive, Rashawn Thomas off the Ali miss. He's going to go right at C.J. Williams. Lost it. Williams takes it away. Garrett Johnson got a little sloppy with the basketball, bailed out by Dallas Cameron. To shoot. Gafar has another triple.
It's a nice luxury to have a guy coming off the bench that's already had 12 multi-3 games. Make that 13 on the season now.
Stephen F. Austin foul.
Before the NCAA tournament.
Temple in or out. Monmouth in or out. What do you think?
They both have very good wins. Probably depends if there's any other upsets here. I think both of them make it as of right now.
Foul in the corner called on T.J. Holyfield. That's his first. That's the 3rd team foul on Stephen F. Austin. Now the Southland Conference, this is a 1-bid league. The loser of this game is not going to the NCAA tournament. So this is a true Game 7 atmosphere. Trey Pinckney gets the steal, and Demetrius Floyd draws the foul. Saving a layup was Jelani Curry.
And this Stephen F. Austin team, so efficient on the offensive end, you can't give up any easy baskets, and that's just a turnover on an inbounds that leads to a break.
Saw Brad Underwood there. This is his 3rd season at Stephen F. Austin. All he has done is go 87-13. In large part because of the guy that's checking back in. He's got the back-to-back Southland Conference Player of the Year in Thomas Walker. But all 3 years, Coach Underwood has been the Coach of the Year in this league. And I guess that's what happens when you go 58-1 in conference competition.
Pretty hard to give it to somebody else when you never lose a game. And Coach Underwood had nothing but good things to say about Thomas Walkup. Said the hardest working player he has ever been around. And he says it's contagious now. Other players are starting to come to the gym, and guys feel bad when they don't get into the gym because he's always in there working.
Walkup and Holyfield battle for the rebound, and it ends up with Holyfield. Holyfield from outside. Walkup the rebound. Finds Holyfield. The finger roll won't go. The tip follow won't go. Holyfield keeps it alive. Now Demetrius Floyd backs it out. And a fresh 30 for the Jazz.
Great attack on the offensive boards, keeping this possession alive.
Ty Charles is fouled. And players tumble to the deck as Rashawn Thomas went down hard as well.
Walkup gets it all started, crashing in on the boards. Second, third, 4 opportunities. Eventually going to lead to a foul and free throws for Stephen F. Austin.
Thomas called for his first. Thomas Walkup is one of those players, if you've never seen him play before, that in a way you don't like. Because he just makes basketball look easy. And you know it's not. If this is something you've ever tried to do, it's hard to make the game look as effortless and easy as he is able to make it. That ball spent a long time before it finally fell off for Ty Charles. And it's reflected statistically in the fact that he just checks every box in the box score.
No question. Does everything for this team. And you mentioned it looks easy because of the efficiency. He's not taking a lot of shots. He's scoring a lot of points on those shots. And then that's just a senior. The game starts to slow down for you when you become a senior, and how hard that he's worked. This is a guy that really didn't have any offers coming out of high school and has just worked at his game. His last 3 seasons have been terrific at Stephen F. Austin.
Nice finish. Jelani Curry was able to get to the lane.
Curry had 7 quick points on the halftime last night to spark the comeback. See if that one gets A&M Corpus Christi going on that end.
Spin move by Floyd. Off the window. The follow is there for T.J. Holyfield.
Holyfield averaging 1.5 offensive rebounds a game. You got to find the body on him. Able to get to the rim and finish that one above the rim.
That's his first basket, but he's got 4 rebounds already in the first 10 minutes. Curry, double team, diving to the floor is Ty Charles. He creates the held ball. It'll stay with the Islanders, but that is the kind of hustle play that you see in championship games in a one-bid league.
And changes games. This is just going to be a jump ball in the stat sheet. It's going to keep it with A&M Corpus Christi, but the entire bench got on their feet. The crowd got on their feet, and that sparked the team. Little plays make big differences in championship games.
Stephen F. Austin, not only #1 in turnovers forced, #1 in America in the turnover margin, but they're number 14 in opponents' points per game. They hold the opposition to under 64 points per game. They're #1 in America in scoring margin. They win by an average of 17.5 points per game.
You mentioned all those stats. You would think they're 53-1 in conference over the last 3 years.
I think they are. Demetrius Floyd called for his first. 4th team foul. Unable to get it in the corner. The Islanders, as Rashawn Thomas tried to come over and help out Brandon Pye. It's a turnover, and Hamid Ali was slow to get out. Pye couldn't get it in, and when he finally threw it in, Rashawn Thomas had not reestablished himself on the court. He jumped up in the air while touching the baseline. So it goes from bad to worse, as Hamid Ali is injured, and it's a turnover for A&M Corpus Christi.
A little bit of extracurricular activity.
And let's see, one of the officials, that was Keith Kimball, who came over and said what, Sean?
And they were looking to see if there was anything extra after the technicals, and there was nothing there that they could see.
There's Walkup knocking one down. There wasn't even anything that probably warranted technicals in the first place.
And you have to expect emotions, and energy is going to be high in a championship game. Guys are going to be excited. They're going to play hard and get after it. You don't want to take away their competitive edges.
Now a foul called on Walkup. That's his first. The last 4.5 minutes for A&M Corpus Christi. They've got 2 field goals and 3 turnovers. And this game is starting to go in the wrong direction, as now Ali is hurt and leaving the court. So it goes from bad to worse for the Islanders, as the #1 steal man, #3 in assists in school history, and the senior leader at point guard is doubled over back in the corner. We'll see if he's able to make it back to the bench. But Hamid Ali off the floor, replaced by Ihab Amin, who lobs it into another held ball, as Rashawn Thomas battled with Demetrius Floyd, and that jump ball gives the possession arrow back over to the Lumberjacks.
And this is just suffocating D right now from Stephen F. Austin. A&M Corpus Christie having a tough time even inbounding the ball on these baseline out of bounds.
That 3-2 strong side rim for Gaffar. Deshaun Thomas to the corner to Curry. That's a triple. That comes up short. Foul on Curry. Ali making his way back to the bench now. Let's see if he can get back in the game. That's the 7th team foul, though, on the Islanders. So it's a 1-and-1 for the point guard, Trey Pinckney. Curry called for his 2nd foul, so he goes to the bench. And it looks like now Willis Wilson wants a timeout. So we will step aside for. And at 3:15, the American Championship game between Memphis and UConn. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Papa Shoes and Sean Harrington here in Katy, Texas, at the Southland Championship game. And Trey Pinckney, who averages 2.5 points per game, but who Brad Underwood told us everything in their program begins and ends with what Trey Pinckney does.
I just love watching this young man play a game of basketball. He's going to get after the dribbler full court, pressure the basketball, set the tone on the defensive end, and then offensively, he's going to make sure that everybody gets a touch, everybody gets a look, and they get into the spots where they like to score. He's got a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio.
A 5 count. Check that, a foul call. That will result in more free throws for Stephen F. Austin, I believe.
And just as we're talking about Trey Pinckney, this is why. There's the push-off, and he's going to pick you up 94 feet. And he causes the offensive foul.
So that foul obviously offensive, not resulting in free throws, but it adds to the total for A&M Corpus Christie as they're up to 18 fouls. Another deep jumper goes down. This one from Jared Johnson. And this game is starting to get away from the Islanders as Stephen F. Austin up by 15. Hamid Ali back in the game. Can't hit the jumper. This is what the Jacks do. They beat you by double figures, and they're such an efficient offensive team. Although turning it over here is Gaffar.
And it's easier said than done, but very important here for Texas A&M Corpus Christie to not fall in love with the jump shot. They have to find a way to attack, get to the rim, try to get some easy ones. They did that early in this ball game. They haven't done it since. A lot of that is because Stephen F. Austin has cranked up the defense, starting right here on the basketball with Trey Pinckney.
High. In and out. Now there's a lid on the basket right now for the Islanders. They just can't buy a bucket. Johnson rolls home a 3.
The offense is clicking. Stephen F. Austin, great ball and body movement. Johnson wide open on that 3 attempt.
Ali tries to force a pass underneath, deflected out of bounds by Gaffar. Important players, Hamid Ali is back on the bench for the Islanders. They have played such efficient basketball that there are plenty of games this season where walk-up has barely played more than a half.
That's what makes their stats even more incredible. He's putting up those numbers, and he's not playing a lot of minutes. And it is a fresh team, and it's a deep team. They can go 9-10 deep and not skip a beat. You've seen it already. Jared Johnson coming in, scoring off the bench. Gaffard having a big game already offensively. He's off the bench. 15 bench points already, so half of the scoring is coming from the Stephen F. Austin bench.
The first free throw of the game for the Islanders, missed by Rashawn Thomas after Jared Johnson committed his first foul. So both teams now over the limit here in the first half, but A&M Corpus Christi has to get some stops. Johnson down the lane. The floater won't go. Offensive rebound, Gaffard. The tip follow. Finally rolls home for C.J. Williams.
Just more energy and effort going to the glass right now. Stephen F. Austin not settling for one and done on that end. They continue to attack. You give them 3 opportunities in the possession, they're going to make you pay.
Rashawn Thomas lost it. Another turnover for the Islanders. Johnson gives it up. Walk up. That floater goes. Plus the foul.
Another run out. Another finish and one for Thomas Walker. All kinds of energy and emotion spilling over for the Lumberjacks.
Two years ago, Stephen F. Austin was 18-0 in conference play. Last year, they were 17-1. This year, 18-0. Last year, they went to the NCAA tournament. The year before that, they went to the NCAA tournament. And unless the Islanders completely change the course of this game, the Jacks with this group are on the way to the tournament once again, as they are in the midst of a 35-6 run. And Hamid Ali is over on the bench. You can't watch.
This is just a clinic right now from Stephen F. Austin on both ends of the floor. They have completely locked up A&M Corpus Christi on this end. Pressuring the basketball all over the floor, making it extremely difficult not only to score, but get into the lane. Completing passes are difficult right now.
Everything's working for Brad Underwood, but I make you Willis Wilson. Hard shoes to put you in right now. What button can you push to try and get your team back in the game?
Right now, do you mix up your defense a little bit to try to bust up the rhythm of Stephen F. Austin? You have to slow him down. And maybe a little bit of zone.
Well, if you keep giving up tip follows, uncontested offensive rebounds, you have no chance. And that's another one for SFA. That one from Ty Charles.
On this end of the court, you cannot fall in love with jump shots. Good job by Kilgore that time, trying to get into the lane. Right now, this offense is so far out on the floor, tough to get anything going. At some point, you got to put your head down, get to the rim, try to get into the lane, make them call a foul, try to finish close to the basket. And they're not burying shots from the outside. They're tipping them in on the inside.
Foul on Jared Johnson, his second. He's back on the bench. Demetrius Floyd back in. Emmanuel Toney comes in for the first time, replacing Brandon Hyde. Walk up. Short. And this time the rebound to Tony. Kilgore, nice look. Francis allows the flyby and draws the foul. That should be the second. Check that. That is the first on Clyde Gaffard.
That's a start. If you're A&M Corpus Christie, you finally get a stop and you block out. Don't allow a second chance opportunity. And then because of the blockout, it allows you to run in transition before the defense gets set. Stephen F. Austin doesn't match up. Francis wide open inside. He gets fouled. He gets a trip to the line.
For A&M Corpus Christie, though, this is not the lineup on the floor that's going to mount the comeback. They're without Rashawn Thomas, who's on the bench right now. He's by far their best player. First team all-conference, averaging 17 a game. And they're also without Hamid Ali, who last night hit the three to win the game, part of an 18-point effort. They got players on the floor right now that average 2 and 3 points a game.
Brandon Pye, another one of those guys, all-time leader in 3 points made for A&M Corpus Christie. Needs to step up as well, being a senior. See if he can get the offense going for the Islanders.
Second foul on Duvier. Back to the line goes Walkup, but those are the two best players sitting side by side. Now it will be Rashawn Thomas getting up and heading to the scorer's table. Walk up in double figures for the 28th time this season. Ty Charles out. C.J. Williams back in. And now a little three-quarter court pressure from SFA, as if their half-court defense hasn't been good enough. Giving it means something extra to think about.
Yeah, shows what they can do. Mix it up a little bit. A little man-to-man, a little three-quarter. And then their pressure in the half-court is extremely good as well.
Kilgore, a floater. No. Tracks down his own miss. Left wide open, passed up a 15-footer. Tough pass. Almost an impossible one to squeeze around Gaffard to Rashawn Thomas. And it's another Islanders turnover. Usually starts to get punchy about 4 minutes into the second half of a noon Big Ten game. At 9:30 at night, that might be what those guys are doing back in the studio. Could be a thumb war. Where do the points come from for Corpus Christie? Rashawn Thomas, the only big scorer they have on the floor with Ali out. And now another foul is called. That one's going to go against Dale Francis. That's team foul number 10, so automatic 2 for C.J. Williams.
Texas A&M Corpus Christie, you got to work inside out at this point. Get it into Thomas. Let him work on the block. I like the aggressive play from Kilgore, at least trying to get into the lane a little bit. He had that turnover last possession, but he is trying to attack, trying to get into the lane. You get down this much, it's easy to start settling for threes, thinking you can climb back into it quickly. They got to get a little bit of a rhythm, some confidence to go into that half.
How do you get that against a team that's playing defensively as well as the Jacks are?
You got to spread them out a little bit and beat them off the dribble. We saw it a little bit last night. Amin's a guy that can do that. If you can space the floor, give him opportunities. But you can't turn it over that quick. That just leads to fast points.
Tony takes it right back, and that's a beautiful pass. That sets up Kilgore for the flush.
There's a fast break opportunity before the defense can get set. Can you do that? The way you do that is getting stops on this end.
It was about 7 minutes without a field goal for A&M Corpus Christie. And now a little touch foul up top on Francis.
one of the few chances. And A&M Corpus Christie's been able to get out and run before that defense can get set. Great finish in transition by Kilgore.
Francis called for his third, so he'll go out. Victor Juracek comes in for the first time for the Islanders, and that's a good sign as well. A very good sign if you're an A&M Corpus Christi fan, as they've got Hamid Ali back on the floor. Do you set a number here? Down by 22, maybe 23. If Ty Charles makes this free throw, which he does, can you get it to 15 at halftime? Is there a target number here?
It has to be under 20. It's one of those mental things. You look at the scoreboard, you see 20, think you're getting blown out. If it can be 17, 18, that'd be fantastic.
How about Tony? A chance for a three-point play. Emmanuel Tony only averages 1.2 points per game.
This is a very good job beating the pressure. A little bit of a spark here off the bench. Emmanuel Tony, last possession, gave the pass up to Kilgore. This time takes it himself. Takes the contact, finishes. Three-point play opportunity.
That's the second foul on Ty Charles. Both teams over the 10-foul limit as well, so it's automatic free throws. The double bonus the rest of the way. But this, for Emmanuel Tony, a former walk-on who started 25 games last year, but has been turned into a bit player that averages less than 10 minutes a game this season and didn't even appear in 6 or 7 games for the Islanders. Gets the three-point play as Rashawn Thomas goes back to the bench.
And Tony giving you a little bit of emotion, giving you some energy. Something the team's lacked here in the first half. Tony third on the team in steals. Only 9th in minutes. So when he gets in there, he gets his hands active on some basketballs, turns the defenders over. How can you string a couple stops together in a row to close out the half?
Hickney. Caroms to Williams. To the corner to Walkup. Allows the flyby. Can't hit the three. Tony is fouled by C.J. Williams. That'll be 2 free throws at the other end for Emmanuel Tony. Who saw this coming?
You're saying Tony a lot, and that just shows you right now. He's bringing the energy. He's bringing the emotion, trying to lead this team back. Coaches all the time talk about the last 4 minutes of a half and the first 4 minutes of the second half. That's when momentum can swing, setting the tone. Stephen F. Austin has dominated this first half. But if A&M Corpus Christi can continue a little bit of a run here, stop the bleeding, feel better about themselves going into half, regroup, maybe set the tone a little bit, start the second half, put some pressure on Stephen F. Austin as they just playing loose and free here in this first half.
And now Tony, might be some blood. I think he has to go over to the sideline and get wrapped quickly by one of the athletic trainers before he is going to be able to shoot his second free throw. With Sean Harrington, I'm Bob Wischusen. This is the Southland Championship game between Stephen F. Austin, the 1 seed, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, the 2 seed. And that was a quick patch-up. I'll put Tony back at the line. As a former player, you talked about you just want to get it under 20. If you were playing right now, down by 19, would you, beyond what the coach says, would you have a target number in mind where you would say, all right, we've got this at a point now at halftime where we can believe it's possible in the second half?
I would say 16 would be a pretty good number, knowing then you take those 4-minute intervals, 5-minute intervals second half and say, can we win each one of those by 2, 3, or 4? That gets you into a situation the last 4 minutes of the game, couple possession ball game.
Well, to get to your number, they only have to win the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds by 2 points.
That could be easier said than done against the Stephen F. Austin team.
And against that guy, Thomas Walkup, another bucket.
He just has a knack for scoring the basketball right around the rim, takes his time, good patience, good footwork, strong finish.
Step back 3. That's the first triple of the game for the Islanders. Islanders. They are now 1 for 6 from behind the arc, but they're 1 for their last 1.
Always got to take the positive side of it.
They give up the baseline, though. Too easy for Clyde Gaffar. Ali, offensive foul. And a technical foul. He picked up a tee last night, mouthing to the bench of Sam Houston State after he hit a 3. And tonight he is called for a technical foul for protesting the last call that went against him. That's a disaster if you're the Islanders.
You can't have that, especially from your leader, point guard. You're finally starting to get a little bit of momentum, building on a little bit of a run. And then this, right before the half, there's no question. Anytime you extend the arm in the open floor, it's going to be an offensive foul. And he threw the ball at Pinckney, who was laying on the ground, and that's the reason for the technical.
Well, we saw one moment earlier in this half where the officials were pretty quick on the trigger finger to call a technical foul. You think that was worth a technical foul? Tossing the ball forward? I mean, was that Hamid Ali, in your mind, trying to taunt the player that he just bowled over?
He didn't throw it hard at him. He was just tossing the basketball. And a couple quick tees that have really changed momentum in this game. Holmes believe it deserved the tee, but at the same point, you got to be smarter than that. If you're Ali, you can't put yourself in that situation to even let the official make that call.
Traveling call on C.J. Williams. Although I agree with your first point, I don't think that deserved a technical foul either. I think this officiating crew, I guess on a big stage in a championship game, has been very quick on the trigger finger with some of the technical fouls that have been called against players here in the first half. And called against players that are impactful players in the game. You start adding up personal fouls, obviously, when you call technicals, and really good players get into foul trouble. That's impacting the outcome of the game. C.J. Williams called for a foul. That's his second.
A lot of whistles and fouls in general. Both teams in the double bonus, well past the double bonus.
We have had 27 fouls called here in the first half. And 3 of those technical fouls, and all 3 questionable.
Great night for Daniel Toney. Trying to mount a little bit of a comeback here, get some momentum. Here, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. This is a big 35 seconds here.
So we'll step aside championship games from tomorrow afternoon. Selection Sunday. The brackets come out. And all of us experts have a chance to do the ESPN Bracket Challenge and embarrass ourselves to show you how little we really know about who's going to win these games.
Could get really ugly this year.
Walk up with the shot clock winding down. Johnson, 3 to shoot. Floyd gives it up. Johnson beats the timer, but that is an air ball. So that will be a shot clock violation. So a chance for A&M Corpus Christi to score before halftime. And maybe get the lead down to 17, maybe even 16 if they hit a 3.
That's a big stop. In the game, you're talking it's 19 points. Keeping it under 20 is huge. And if you can get a bucket here, it's manageable in the second half.
Ali can't trot up the floor. Seems to be a sense of urgency here. Off to Kilgore. He'll try a 3. That's no good. And that will end the first half with a 19-point lead for Stephen F. Austin. And Thomas Walkup doing what the Conference Player of the Year does. 14 dominant. but efficient is the word that we use over and over again. He scores so many points on so few field goal attempts that it only necessitates going through him a certain number of possessions, I would guess. As Rashawn Thomas will try and get started. Unfortunately, starts the second half with a turnover.
It was a good play. It got your best player, leading the score, the ball right into the middle of the floor. He started moving those feet a little too quick. On this end of the floor, we mentioned a walk-up. Scoring the basketball, you don't have to draw up plays for him. He just gets it in the flow of the offense, goes and finds baskets.
And gets assists as well. Sets up Demetrius Floyd, who had 6 threes against Houston Baptist in the semifinal win, and adds to what has been a terrific shooting performance in this conference tournament with another triple.
He busted this game wide open yesterday to start the second half. Looking to do the same here tonight.
High for 3. It's off the front rim. Foul called. And it looks as if that is going to go against TJ Holyfield. This is obviously a one-bid lead. But at some point in the second half as we move through, I'm going to throw some bubble teams at you and see what you think about difficult decisions that the committee is going to have tomorrow. And still some information to be found out, as we've got a couple of championship games tomorrow that will certainly impact seedings. Michigan State could end up on the top line with a win tomorrow, or maybe they bounce back to a 2 if they lose to Purdue in the title game. And what happens to Kentucky if they win the SEC tomorrow?
Right now they're sitting, I would imagine they're probably a 3 seed. I don't know if there's going to be enough moving and shaking in those top 2 seeds for them to leapfrog somebody into a 2. But they're playing their best basketball of the season right now. That's a scary 3. If you're a 2 seed kind of looking over at them in the bracket thinking that could be a Sweet 16 matchup.
TJ Holyfield extends the lead, and Bryce Duvier is called for the foul. You know, it was full disclosure by Chris Cotter during the halftime report with Dan Dockich that Dan's son plays for Michigan. But Dan brought up a team in Michigan that is a very interesting decision as well for the committee. And I thought Dan made some good points about some of the wins on their resume that other bookers punch tickets. And these are the tickets that were punched today. Now, obviously, Kansas, Seton Hall, they didn't have much to worry about. I think they were going to squeak in, but they win their respective conference championships. But you get those scenes like Stony Brook, Hampton, Middle Tennessee, a scene that we're going to have in short order with Stephen F. Austin, if they continue this performance. As Walkup gets a takeaway after a bucket made by Demetrius Floyd, Bob Shoes and Sean Harrington watching the #1 seed put on a show here in the Southland Tournament championship game.
Yeah, they're looking like a team that's won 3 straight conference regular season titles and about to be 3 straight tournament titles as well. And the dominance that they've had in this league, you're seeing why. They are efficient on the offensive end, and they pressure you on the defensive end and take you out of everything that you want around.
I asked you about Michigan. Dan Dockich, Chris Cotter were talking about them at halftime. Is that win over Indiana enough to put them on the right side of the bubble?
It's a huge win because when you start looking at those bubble teams, it's going to be so close. What differentiates one team from another? You're going to be able to say you knocked off Indiana. That's an impressive victory. Does anybody else in the bubble have a win like that? That could be enough to give them a boost over some of the other teams they're going to be compared to on that bubble line.
Walk up, a rare turnover as Rashawn Thomas got the deflection. And now Thomas scores, plus the foul.
This is good ball movement for A&M Corpus Christi. Ball goes from one side of the floor to the other, allows Curry to penetrate, draw the defense to him. Thomas goes through contact, finishes at the rim. Yeah, they got to keep involved in this offense if they're going to mount any kind of comeback He needs to get touches, not only to get scores, that'll suck in the defense, and maybe they can play inside and out from there.
Well, A&M Corpus Christie can score. They're a team that averages 74 points a game. But they have shown no inclination at any point in this game to be able to get a stop or two in a row. And that time, the backboard was the only thing that stopped Demetrius Floyd on the drive. But there's Gaffard, another offensive rebound and a chance for a three-point play.
And if there has been a missed shot, this has usually been the result as well. Guys on the backside waiting for it, attacking the basket. Tone was set early in this ball game. Stephen F. Austin going to the offensive glass for tip-ins, putbacks, second chance opportunities. That picks up here again in the second half.
Another rebound for C.J. Williams. Three on the way for Gaffard. Ali tries a triple. That's an air ball.
It's just not A&M Corpus Christie's night. That's penetration and kick. Shooter stepping into a shot, and he was well short on that attempt.
Floyd comes up short. Kilgore, a little Euro crossover, and creeps one over the front of the rim.
Good night for Joe Kilgore. Continues to attack, get into the lane. Puts pressure on the D.
Foul called. That's going to go on walk-up. Can A&M Corpus Christie mount any kind of a second half comeback? If they get walk-up in foul trouble, that'd help. And then the American Championship on the line between Memphis and UConn. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. A doubleheader that begins tomorrow at 1. Bob Wischusen, Sean Harrington. 5 minutes gone by here in Katy, Texas, in the second half of the Southland Conference Championship game. And Trey Pinckney is called for the foul. That's his second. And that's a look at Brad Underwood in his third year on the bench for Stephen F. Austin. And he has been the Southland Coach of the Year all 3 years for the Lumberjacks. First time in conference history that a coach has accomplished that. 3 years in a row as the league Coach of the Year. Undefeated in conference play his first year, undefeated in conference play this year. Only of the 3 coaches to have 18 or 0 better conference records. 2 times or more, Bob Knight, John Chaney, Jerry Tarkanian, and Brad Underwood. That is a pretty good Mount Rushmore to be a part of. And Stephen F. Austin has been Alabama football. They've been the Yankees. They're the Patriots. They've been that type of a dynasty, at least in recent years in this league.
Yeah, you talk about Kansas running their streak, Gonzaga running their streak, but none of them have dominated in conference play like this, only losing 1 game over 3 years. It's just been remarkable. Brad Underwood's done a terrific job with this team. Extremely well coached. They're efficient on the offensive end. Defensively, they pressure you from all 5 spots on the floor, making it extremely difficult to run your motion, run your sets. It's a very deep team. They go 9-10 deep, and they don't drop off when they go to this bench.
Cameron with 1 on the shot clock. That's a pinned ball, and it looks like that should be a shot clock violation. Was a foul called? A foul was called. I'm not sure that foul was called before the shot clock went to 0. But that'll put C.J. Williams at the line as Joe Kilgore was called for the foul on the drive. As the shot clock was going to 0, that was going to be a shot clock violation if a foul wasn't called. Not only does that look like a lot of basketball, but unfortunately in that shot you couldn't see the shot clock. Well, there's a pretty good chance that shot clock had gone to 0 before the foul was even committed. Another giveaway, though, by A&M Corpus Christi.
And you just can't do that if you're trying to make any kind of a comeback. 2 missed free throws leads to a quick turnover.
Missing from the corner, though, was Dallas Cameron, so the Islanders do end up with the basketball.
See just how hard they make them work, just bringing the basketball up the floor. Different guys picking up the basketball 94 feet.
Wow, that's another turnover. Number 15 on the night. It leads to a Williams layup. A&M Corpus Christi only averages 12.5 turnovers per game. And they have turned it over 15 times. And we still have 13 minutes to play. Kilgore. The layup right around walk-up.
This pressure defense is familiar to some basketball fans. Bob Huggins style. Obviously, Brett Underwood was an ops guy at Kansas State under Bob Huggins, so he learned some of that defense from him. See a lot of the same strategies, pressuring the basketball, picking up 94 feet.
Dallas Cameron knocks one down.
So important when you're playing defense. How many deflections can you get? Deflections lead to steals. Even if you're not getting steals off deflections, it messes up rhythm, timing, disrupts that offense.
Stephen F. Austin would love to hang on to that man right there, I'm sure. But when you go 58-1 in league play, and you're in a one-bid league, you usually end up someplace else in the not-too-distant future. Are there some jobs out there that you think could come available that you'd have Brad Underwood on your short list if you were an athletic director or school president?
If I'm an AD and I'm at any of the power conferences, you got to give Brad Underwood a very strong look and hard look. What he's doing here right now, building a program. A lot of times guys get caught up with someone that wins a game or two in the NCAA tournament and think maybe that's a hot name. But you have to look what they do, their whole body of work. When you start talking about 53-1 in conference, dominating, getting to the NCAA tournament. They won a game 2 years ago. Last year took Utah right down to the wire, almost won another game. And he just does a great job disciplining his team. They play smart, they play hard, they play with energy. He's got all the tangibles that you need in a coach. Kind of looking around right now. I really like Bryce Drew at Valpo, Brad Underwood here at Stephen F. Austin. We're looking for a coach. Those are two guys I would have on my short list.
That foul on walk-up was his third. That finger roll by Thomas is good. But Stephen F. Austin is on their way to hanging 100 on A&M Corpus Christi, unless at some point the Islanders can turn things around at the defensive end. But another uncontested jump shot, wide open, and T.J. Holyfield knocks it down.
And this team shares the basketball on that offensive end. Ball and body movement. Hardly ever can you watch a possession and see someone standing on that end. Lots of movement makes it difficult to guard and leads to open shots.
Thomas starting to get hot.
Thomas is a nice player. Only a junior. He'll have another big season next year, and he just hasn't had the looks in this ball game. He's been perfect from the floor.
How about the dribble drive by Demetrius Floyd? Did the hard part with the juke in the corner, but couldn't finish.
Well, he surprised himself with that move. He was that open at the rim.
Amin goes back door.
Maine's going to get credit for the bucket, but that's Emmanuel Toney setting them up. Really good night for Emmanuel Toney. Some great energy and production off the bench.
Foul called on Jelani Curry. A 20-point lead for the #1 seed in the championship game in the Southland Conference.
The Lexus.
Been to the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. We talked about their success. They knocked off VCU 2 years ago. Took Utah right down to the wire last year, so it's not a team that's going to be intimidated on the big stage. These guys have all played in that situation. Would not be a team I'd want to see if I'm a 4 or a 5 preparing for them.
You can take the bracket challenge. Go to ESPN.com/bracket tomorrow after these Selection Sunday brackets come out. Foul called on the interior on the Islanders. And both teams already out of fouls to give again in the second half with 10:35 to go. Front end of the 1-and-1 missed by Gaffard. Kilgore misses the bunny. Amin thought about a 3 but couldn't gather in time. Leans in and he is able to convert the layup.
He's got a way of getting to the basket last couple games now. Really good getting his head down, just going and finishing at the rim.
And then Corpus Christie goes zone, and there's a zone buster from the corner from Thomas Walkup. And a quick timeout called by Brad Underwood. Walkup up to 558 points scored this season. That is a single season record.
Just remarkable, and he does it in the flow of the offense. We talked about it. You don't have to draw plays to get him shots. He's going to do it within the flow of the offense. And you have a guy that's averaging a little over 17 a game. You don't have to worry about him taking lots of shots to get those points. He's going to be efficient. Lets other guys get touches and looks as well.
Now he takes it away. Stripped it out of the hands of Rashawn Thomas. And a foul called on Toney at the other end. And Gaffard will shoot free throws once again.
Quick hands from Walkup. Leads to another steal, another takeaway. Stephen F. Austin prides themselves on getting up more shots than their opponent. And when you don't turn the ball over yourself and you turn your opponent over, it's going to lead to more opportunities. And also they attack the rim on the offensive boards. Leads to second chance opportunities. And we talked about the efficiency. You get more looks than your opponent and you're efficient, you're going to win a lot of ball games, and they have. And another look. Three-quarter court. 1-2-2 look that time. Drops back to a man.
The defense, though, suffocating, and already the shot clock under 8. And the Highlanders have yet to really even run a set. Shot clock at 4, and Ali has to force one up. And missed. By the time you finally get the ball over the timeline, get set up, get your ball handlers to feel like the pressure is backed off a bit, you look up, there's 10 seconds left to shoot.
They just do a great job completely taking you out of your sets. And there was no pressure on the defense that time. Never got the ball inside the three-point arc until the last few seconds of the shot clock.
Walkup tries to save it. 2 to shoot from the corner, Gaffard. And the long rebound tracked down by Floyd. That's a fresh 30.
They'll make you work on this end. So much ball and body movement. You're in constant motion defensively. It wears you out.
And Walkup back to the line. You know, we've been talking about teams that are on the bubble but aren't competing for their conference championship as we take a look at the frantic defense that SFA plays.
You finally get it across. You're down to 18. And again, they have good pressure on the basketball, denying the pass out. They catch it out at half court, 10 seconds to go. Nothing to do but go one-on-one to try to get a last shot before the shot clock ends.
What about some bubble teams that have competed for, or even in the case of Memphis, might win a championship and steal a bid? I mean, you have to think that there are a lot of teams out there on the bubble that are sweating it out to know that the automatic bid in some of these conferences that may get you more than one team in could go to a team that Joe Lenardi has on the outside looking in.
No question. There are a lot of bubble teams cheering for UConn in that ball game tomorrow because it does steal a bid. UConn's done enough now to play themselves into the tournament. So if they don't win that game, Memphis strictly is getting in only if they win that game.
Who should be most worried?
Well, you start looking at teams. Monmouth is a team that is on there. St. Mary's is a team that probably is right on one of those last few spots.
Emmanuel Toney called for the offensive foul. You wonder about these teams that may have played their way out of the tournament. Syracuse losing early in the ACC hurt them. And St. Mary's still unable to get over the top against Gonzaga.
Well, those teams right there all had to win a couple games, take care of their business. They wouldn't worry about it. But now you're sweating it.
And how about the season for the Zags as Ty Charles scores again? They start the year as a highly ranked team. They bottom out to the point that going into the WCC tournament, it was almost taken for granted that they would have to run the table and win the league championship to get to the tournament, and they do.
Yeah, just a tremendous run from Gonzaga. What Mark Few's done there has been terrific. They're back in the tournament again.
At 7, Bracketology presented by Staples continues coverage. 2 more hours of breakdowns. It all happens tomorrow on Selection Sunday. Streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. And the fact that Oregon could actually even be back in that conversation is, to me, amazing, because it seemed to me, I don't know if you thought the same, that anytime any team seemed to get on a roll in the Pac-12, they would lose a game you didn't expect them to lose.
Absolutely. You thought it might have been Arizona there for a while, and it was going to be Oregon, and Utah maybe had a chance at one point.
That will foul out Bryce Duvier.
Oregon, impressive. If you win the regular season and the conference tournament, it's a pretty strong pace to be up there. I think the top 4 seeds are pretty close to being locked in. Kansas obviously gets one. North Carolina winning the regular season and the tournament. I really believe if Michigan State wins the Big Ten tournament tomorrow, they will be a #1 seed. I got to figure Virginia is probably still that 4th team that hangs on to a #1 seed.
What if you were a coach of one of those teams that'll end up on the 1, the 2, maybe the 3 line? Who do you least want to see? Not in the first round, but down the road. You know, there's some teams out there that you're just saying if they are in your portion of the bracket, as Skafar gets the seal but turns it over, that you're saying, oh no, look what's waiting for me in the Elite 8 if we're blessed enough to get that far.
A team that you don't want to face, maybe a West Virginia.
Right.
Coming on short rest. Obviously, Kansas has played them 3 times now, but if you're coming from a different league and you're a 1 or a 2 and that's an Elite 8 game and you're preparing for them on 2 days notice, that is a very difficult matchup to get used to that pressing style, and they turn you over. Not a fun style to play for on short notice.
Bob Lachuz and Sean Harrington here in Katy, Texas. It's the Southland Conference Championship game. And it certainly looks like Stephen F. Austin will be heading to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd straight year. Thomas Walkup back in the game, the back-to-back conference player of the year here in the Southland. Watching the Big East Championship game today, Seton Hall. Now there is a team that, and I don't know if they can be classified as a dark horse any longer when you run through the Big East and beat the teams they've beaten. I mean, They probably have moved up 2 lines in the last couple of weeks. But that's a team that I'm not sure was on the radar screen of many, say, a month ago. But to me, they almost look like you could draw the parallel to UConn with Kemba Walker when they made a run through the Big East tournament, won the championship, and then took that momentum right into the NCAA tournament. Not only made it the Final Four, but won the whole thing.
And a lot of times it is what team's hot at the right time. You got to get playing for 2 weekends to get to the Final Four. That's 4 games. You can just get hot on a weekend, find yourself playing the next. There's so much about matchups as well. What teams match up well against each other. Another scary team out there, Purdue, playing in the Big Ten tournament tomorrow. Not a lot of teams or people talking about them, but their front line is massive. There's no one in the country that can match up against 7 foot, 7 foot, and 6'10" in Swanigan.
Brandon Pye trying to breathe a little life back into the Islanders, pardon me, as he scores 5 straight, but that might just be window dressing for A&M Corpus Christi. As Stephen F. Austin has dictated everything that they've wanted to dictate at the offensive end. And that floater banks home. Another bucket for Jared Johnson. He's got 7.
This pace has been played exactly the way Stephen F. Austin wanted it. They speed you up when you're on offense. Get you to take shots you don't want to take. And on the offensive end, they can play fast and still get good looks at the rim. Now they want to take some air out of the ball and take some time off the clock.
Thomas the rebound off the Gaffard miss. Pye tries another 3. Rebound pulled down by Ty Charles. Double team. Out of bounds, though, off Amin, so it will stay with SFA. Let's take a look at the latest bracketology, courtesy of Joey Brackett's Joe Lenardi. Here are those bubble teams we're talking about, the teams that are certainly rooting for a team like UConn to win tomorrow. Monmouth still part of the last 4 in, and there's Michigan. We're talking about that. Dan Dockich and Chris Cotter touched on Michigan at halftime as a team right on the bubble that might be on the right side. Tomorrow we'll find out. You mentioned St. Mary's as well. According to Joe Lenardi, they are the top of the group of the first 4 out. It's like Mr. Irrelevant or the last guy at the NFL draft.
Those are the teams you just mentioned are really rooting hard for UConn to not steal one of those bids. In a year like this, it's going to come down to what's the committee looking for? Is it bad losses?
Right.
Is it quality wins? Is it strength of schedule? Those teams right there that we just saw, completely different numbers in all those categories.
Well, if you were in that room, what would your checklist be? What would the most important thing for a bubble team be for you to put them on the right side of the bubble?
I want to look at quality wins. What have you won big games? Especially, have you won big games either on the road or at a neutral site? Because essentially that's what the NCAA tournament is.
Speaking of big, how about the follow by Ty Charles? And it looks like was a technical foul called. We've already had 3 times for the 3rd straight season. That trophy will be heading home with the Lumberjacks. Stephen F. Austin has won the Southland Conference Championship game the last 2 years, and they are well on their way to a 3rd consecutive championship under Brad Underwood. This would be only the 3rd time in the history of this league that a team has won 3 straight conference tournament titles. And hard to imagine you can look more dominant than SFA has looked. Jelani Curry hits a 3. But Stephen F. Austin, right now if you're Brad Underwood, you're probably thinking about curtain calls more than anything else. When do you start to take your senior starters out of this game? Because the crowd here is about 75% in purple. So there will be some big cheers when the Pinckneys and Floyds and walk-ups come off the floor. And there's walk-up on the offensive left.
It's incredible what this group of seniors has gone through. They have not seen a lot of losses.
Walk up with a steal.
That's where you've seen somewhere around the country a lot of #1 seeds going down in their conference tournaments, not winning it. The pressure a little bit too much this time of year, knowing you have to win your tournament to get in. And this group doesn't look like there's any pressure. They've been here before. They know how to handle it. They know how to win. Extremely focused group going back last night and all the way through this ball game here tonight.
Blocking foul called, so Ali will go to the line as Trey Pinckney gets called for the foul. Well, the thing to me that Brad Underwood takes to the NCAA tournament with this group, this is the group he's taken the last couple of years. He's got seniors. The best players on this team. Thomas Walkup is a senior. Clyde Gaffard averages 13 points a game as a senior. Demetrius Floyd averages 14 a game. He's a senior. Trey Pinckney, your regular point guard, senior. Jared Johnson, really nice bench player, averages 6 points off the bench at the 2-guard spot, a senior. When TJ Holyfield just sat down, he's really the only freshman that gets a significant amount of minutes in this rotation. So if you're a coach going to the tournament, you know you're going to be in a pressure spot. So now you're representing your league on the biggest stage. It must be comforting to know that you have a veteran group.
Yeah, and a group that knows how to play with each other. They've been there before. They know where everyone's going to be on the floor. There's a good chemistry with this team. And they're not going to be intimidated because it is a veteran group. All these guys have been to the NCAA tournament already twice, so it's not a new experience for them. They may be playing against some power teams that have players that haven't been in the spotlight, haven't been in that situation. There may be some jitters and butterflies from their opponent, who's more than likely going to be a 4 or a 5 seed that they're going to be facing in the NCAA tournament.
Only a minute and 20 seconds to go before the three-peat for Stephen F. Austin is official. Here's Demetrius Floyd giving it up. And it's fumbled out of bounds by Jelani Curry. So it will stay with the Jacks as Brad Underwood is about to improve to 88-13. And now it looks like he is going to begin some curtain calls. Thomas Walkup heads to the bench. Trey Pinckney heads to the bench. The two senior leaders, they're heading to the tournament as 3-time Southland Conference champions.
Very impressive performance from start to finish. Just mentioned 2 seniors there. Walkup does it with his play, leading scorer. Pinckney does it with his motor, his energy, his leadership.
Well, that combination, Walkup and Pinckney, are about to combine together for their 229th win. That is the most wins of any backcourt combination in college basketball. Fred Van Vliet, Ron Baker are a handful of wins behind at Wichita State as the second most prolific winning backcourt combination. And now they're about to cap it with a 3rd consecutive conference championship heading to the NCAA tournament. As Ty Charles is fouled. Let's see who the next curtain call will go to. Here's C.J. Williams to replace Clyde Gaffard, another senior. and the opposite in terms of the range of emotions over on the Islanders bench. As Rashawn Thomas, it's been a tough night. Here's Gaffard to the bench. And Demetrius Floyd, two more seniors. High tries back-to-back threes. That won't go. Down to the last 15 seconds.
There was one too many curtain calls. They only got 4 on the floor right now for Stephen F. Austin.
Well, it has been that kind of night for A&M Corpus Christie. 4 seconds to go, and that will do it. The Lumberjacks, for the 3rd straight year, will cut down the nets. They are the Southland Conference champions, and they are going back to the NCAA tournament. Champ Week on ESPN continues now. We go to the Honda Center in Anaheim. It's the Big West Tournament Championship game. For Sean Harrington, I'm Bob Wischusen. So long from Katy, Texas.